Hey everybody, it's Jenny and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my sketchbook, Draw Every Day, Draw Every Way. Now if you've not seen this yet, I've actually made a first episode about the first chapter using felt tip pens. I'll link that below. If you're new here, welcome to my cozy corner on YouTube. I create stationery, art and travel videos on this channel. Just to recap, a few months ago I challenged myself to draw every day for 12 months and I've been posting a sketch a day if you want to join me on Instagram. Okay, so let's see what we've done this month. We were suggested to use colouring pencils and a black pen, and the topic for this month is food. Here, as usual, is the spread of materials and suggested ways of how to use those materials. Just pausing the video over here to quickly mention about some of these marks that you're going to see throughout this chapter. I realized after editing that they are not supposed to be there and they are coming from the opposite page, but I have erased it and yeah, it worked. I actually quite enjoyed my first drawing. I felt that the black lines were a little bit thick, but texture wise I like how the colouring pencil were kind of laid on. The second image, soup and sandwich, this is absolutely terrible. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, it's down and you know it's a mistake. I didn't like it and that is what I've learned from it. For this image, I tried to challenge myself not to use any black pen and just use colouring pencil. I was trying to use a deeper outline on the outside. I like it, but there is something about the black outlines that I'm drawn to. Okay, on to the next page. This is where I started to play around with patterns a lot more, and I really like the right hand page. There's something about the background that I had so much fun with. I love how the colors are just popping, and I'm addicted to this neon chubby pencil. It's just so much fun to play with, so really enjoyed it. So now that I know that I like the outline on the spread, I play around with it quite a lot. There's thick, there's thins, there's a mix of different width black pens. I still don't like the colourful swirly lollipops. It's a little bit too much for me, and I think my favourite is probably the banana split, the slice of cherry pie and tea and cookies. I particularly like the pattern that I made on the plate of the tea and cookies. So with this spread, knowing that I don't like the thicker outlines, I try to go on the other end of the spectrum and use the thinnest black pen I have. And yeah, I quite like the look of it, but it might be a bit too light for my likings. Just a little note about why I put some faces onto these vegetables is because when I read the prompt, for some reason I just felt like they should have been alive and partying. Okay, on to the next page. I feel that this is a little bit too blank for my likings. It's a bit too minimal, which is what I was trying to give a go as well. I feel that I could have put a little bit more contrast on the fruit tart, but out of the whole page, my favourite has got to be a slice of layer cake. Even though the shading is completely wrong, I feel that there is a little bit of movement with the plate and where the sprinkles are placed. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so this is actually the last page of this section before we hit to the reflections, and I really like it. I feel that my style of using the colouring pencils and outline has really come to light, especially with the last sketch, a slice of pizza. I feel that the colours really pop. There's the mixtures of the outlines. Yeah, I really like it. And of course I love the sushi and chopsticks. I really miss it. Since lockdown I've not had any sushi and I can't wait to just stuff my face with sushi. The hamburger, because when I think of hamburger I feel like it's really heavy, which is what I try to portray with the thicker outline. But yeah, in general I really like this page, and I like it so much that I didn't actually want to move on to the next chapter. And I remember having this feeling on felt tip pens like the first chapter. It's just one of those things. I'm really happy that I'm discovering these things for myself and what I like. Finally, we've got the reflections. Now, in each chapter, they will ask the same 2 questions, which I think is really useful because you kind of look back and you're like, oh yeah, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like. So in conclusion, here are some of the points that I enjoyed about this section. For the first point, I really enjoyed mixing the colouring pencils and the black outlines. I feel that it creates a really nice contrast. And then, of course, I really enjoyed those neon colour pencils and generally making textures with the colouring pencils. And then finally, I love creating the patterned backgrounds, and I feel like I need to experiment a little bit more with that. Okay, on to the next part. Here's a couple of things that I found challenging. Firstly, it's about pressing really hard on the colouring pencil. That's just my general nature, and because I'm using colouring pencil, it was hard for me to kind of layer and create depth. The next point is about getting the shadows and tones right, but I feel like it's going to be a general thing that I need to study and just draw more of, and I'm sure that will come naturally. And finally, I found it challenging just to use colouring pencils without the black outlines. I definitely feel that I'm drawn to the outline because it just makes it pop, but I think it's something that I can experiment on in the future. So to finish the page off, I had to add some stickers, of course, and that brings us to the end of this chapter. I'm really proud of myself for showing up, doing my drawing every day. It's definitely very rewarding when I see the first drawing compared to the last drawing of the month and see the progress there. If you want to hop on board and join me on this challenge, let me know, and I will link my Instagram below where I post every day. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, I hope you have a lovely week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.